Howdy boys and girls, ladies and gents, this is TJ coming at you from GoFigureNews.com. I am thrilled that you are here checking us out. And don't forget that you can just click the subscribe button if you're just perusing. Today we have the Mecca of NECA. That's right, we have the Weyland figure from Alien 3, and from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, we have Leatherface. Now I am going to get right into this with you. We are going to start by looking at Leatherface. Now, NECA has put out several figures of the chainsaw swashbuckling guy with the skin mask, but this is the first time that I've seen like evening wear. We've seen, of course, the standard version, and we've seen the 8-bit version. There's really been several out there, but this is the first one that I think stands alone. The card, you can see, has an amazing artwork. On the back it says, "For a decade, Texas Ranger Lefty Enright has sought to avenge the brutal murder of his kin by the cannibalistic Sawyer family. Leatherface, Chop Top, Cook, and Grandpa." This is really, really great photography. I have to hand it to the people behind the scenes that actually do the advertising type photography, because there's a lot of clever thought that goes into the process. In fact, today, unfortunately, I heard that the photographer for Mezco, for instance, passed away. So that is, I mean, it's a certain type of photography work. It's not straight ahead commercial work. There's a lot of kind of theatrical setting that goes into it. So hats off to the people behind the scenes that do this wonderful, actual handmade painting, artwork, and photography that goes to support these figures. Inside the packaging, we have a wonderful silica gel packet. You might notice that keeps them fresh en route to your doorstep. So here we have Leatherface, and this is really an unusual figure. There's a lot of detail here, so I'm going to point them out to you. Now, first, he has these cool cowboy boots. Now, the outfit is fabric clothing, so it's from the line that celebrates the fabric clothing. The boots are actually his feet, so they don't come on and off. Let me see if I can show you a peek of that. As you can see, they're shorty boots. They would be longer, but I don't think there was any reason to do those since he has the pants covering them. This is what he looks like from the back. It's pretty straightforward in his two-piece black suit. He has a pair of suspenders on, if you can check that out. He's got a tie, and the tie, does it come on and off? I'm not so sure. It might. There's a little kind of claspy thing on the back, but it's not a pop-off button. And then he's got this tie that's kind of like a clear and see-through tie with this fleur-de-lis and kind of a pin holding it at the top button. And then at the bottom, there's blood stains. So that's what is the kind of the psychological setup there. He's got a typical white shirt and black pants. And then the suit coat comes complete with a red, what you would assume is a carnation, or rose. It's very small, so you can't really tell. It's more of a rose. And then in his pocket, there's a little hint of a pink handkerchief, like any gentleman would be carrying. There's also some pocket slots here. They're not working pockets, but the flaps actually open. And then his head. Let's talk about the sculpt, okay? Because the clothes are pretty straightforward. You kind of have to work with them a little bit because the jacket is slightly oversized, which is probably a really good thing. But because it's been in the packaging, it's got sort of a shape to it. I think that the jacket would come right off, honestly, so if you wanted to even iron it. I can't see why you'd want to iron a jacket that's on Leatherface anyway. So let's see, his face itself, the sculpt is, it's kind of brutal. I mean, the face is almost hard to look at. The eyes are extremely beady. The pupils are so small, so you can tell that whoever actually had to paint this really was in there with a teeny tiny marker or paintbrush with a magnifying glass. His hair is kind of like a la Rod Stewart, circa mid-80s, kind of punked out a little bit, and it's got a matte finish, and then he's got a string which is part of the sculpt that's tying his skin or his face onto his head. And then he comes with 3 accessories. One is a hand, which is kind of a fist hand, which has a circular space where you could put one of the other accessories. And then let's check out, he stands very well, by the way. A lot of action figures are kind of iffy, but he stands very well. And then you've got a typical kitchen meat cutter, you know, traditional Thanksgiving style meat cutter, meat slicer, and then it's got some blood stain on it, and it even has a little orange paint there at the top for the button that you would turn it on. And he also comes with his infamous chainsaw, and I like the way that he did the paint job on this. The saw blade itself is really soft and flexible. I wish it was a little bit of harder material, but it makes sense with kids and such that this be soft, because it does have these little ridges for where the blades are and where the chain would meet up with it. There's no extra parts, there's no chain. And it's got lots of details. So there's buttons, there's handles, there's all kinds of different knobs and stuff. So it looks like a worn, used chainsaw. So that would fit in his hand so that you could pose him. And those are the accessories that Leatherface comes with. So here you go. I mean, if you had, like, you know, a standard stand, you could put him in a different pose. I don't know why you'd want to have him do a kick, but there he is. The feet pivot, so they go outward. The knees do, let's see about the hip. There's hip rotation, which we really appreciate the hip rotation. The head, of course, moves. There's limited head movement, though, but that's mainly because of the way in which his actual face and neck are sculpted. Weyland-Yutani Commando is from the Aliens 3 group, and I'm going to show you some pictures rather than just popping this open and putting him into random poses, because I've got some great pictures. But I'm going to read this to you. On the back, it is illustrated as such. After narrowly escaping LV-426, Ripley and the remaining crew of the USS Sulaco enter hypersleep for the long journey back to Earth. But a crash landing leaves Ripley alone and stranded on the maximum security penal planet Fiorina, Fury 161. She's surrounded by inmates whose double Y chromosome makes them most violent men in the whole galaxy. But there's something far more dangerous lurking in the shadows, and I think any fan of Alien would know what that is. Something that may have been in her escape pod all along. And there are 2 other figures. There's an alien figure and a Ripley figure from this particular series. And the Ripley figure that you get in the Alien 3 series is the shaved-headed, famous look of actress Sigourney Weaver. This figure comes with a kind of a cool-looking gun, and then 2 insert face masks that turn the black goggles into silver, making the entire mask and headpiece silver, as well as a silver knife. So this is a good looking figure, and it matches with the 3 original astronaut style alien figures. I'm going to show you the artwork on the side, because the artwork is really essential to a lot of the packaging of NECA figures, and it's different on each side. So I like to pay attention to that. Also, I'll give you a little bit more information. Let's see, the sculpt here was Alex Henke, and fabrication by Brad Haskins, Anthony Minoschino. The paint was done by John Wardell and Jeffrey Trapp. So, and then of course I'm going to give credit to the packaging folks, and that's Chris Longo. So I really love that quite a bit. It's looking really good. So as I'm telling you a little bit about this, I am going to be showing you side by side some of the close-ups. This has got a lot of articulation. Generally, it's 15 points to 30 points of articulation, and this one doesn't disappoint. So that's the Aliens 3 figure. As well as for our NECA Mecha special, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. So I am ecstatic about these new figures from NECA. I think they, as usual, have gone above and beyond what most people's expectations of what an action figure should be in 2016. They always strive to get it right. So 2 thumbs up for the National Entertainment Collectibles Association. We salute you here at Go Figure News. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here at GoFigureNews.com. And don't forget to subscribe. Over and out.